Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to my mini speed build course. In this series of videos, I'll be walking you through how you can create a blog with a minimal design, just like this one. So this course is intended for those who are just getting started out with WordPress and you are looking to just blog. And you're not quite sure what theme you'd like to use just yet. So if you're just looking for a very simple and minimal theme to get started, then this course is for you. Let me go ahead and walk you through the design that I'll be showing you how to build. What we have here at the top is our fictional monster character for our site logo. We then have our site title, so Monster Press. We then have our tagline. Beneath that is our primary navigation menu. Here we have 4 pages, home, about, blog, contact. And then under blog, we have a drop-down menu for the 3 categories that we will have in our blog. So we have technology, travel, and food. Below that, we have links to our social media platforms. And then below that, we have the main part of the design, which is the blog post. So the first section that we have here is technology, and we have 4 featured posts here. All of them are displaying the excerpt for the posts. The next section we have is travel. Here we have 5 posts being displayed all in line, like so. And then the final blog post section is food. And then we have a 3x2 grid with a medium thumbnail size going on here. Finally, we have the footer section, and we have 3 columns. The first column will have our latest posts in just a simple link format like this. In the second column, we'll have some relevant information about who we are, along with some links to some other learning resources, and then a shop. So again, these are just fictional links that we'll include here. And then finally, we have a fictional lead magnet. Okay, so we're giving away a PDF here, and then we have a contact form, and then at the very bottom we have our copyright text here. All right, so that is the blog design that we'll be building. In the next video, I'll be going over the build details. All right, see you then. So the first point will be the homepage settings. So for this design, we'll be needing to use a static homepage. So if you're familiar with WordPress, you'll know that the default setting, homepage setting for sites is to display the latest posts. In this design, we'll be needing to change that to homepage, static homepage. So that's number 1. Next is the theme. So the theme that we'll be using will be blank canvas. Next will be the required plugins. So for this build, we'll be using only 2 plugins. And the first one that we'll be needing is the WordPress.com editing toolkit. This plugin will need it specifically for the blog post block that we'll be using. This is what is managing the grids for the blog posts that we see here. So this can, of course, be achieved with different plugins, as well as a recently released block, query block. But in this specific example, this is what we'll be using. So we'll be needing that plugin, WordPress.com editing toolkit. And then the second second plugin that we'll be using will be CoBlocks. So for this, we're using that specifically for the form that we'll be using here. Okay, and that'll be for the form, just for the form here. So keeping it very minimal, very lightweight, only 2 plugins. Next will be the required pages. So technically, we'll only be using one page, the static home page. So this, what you're seeing here, is the home page. The optional pages that I'll be walking you through on creating will be just some blank about and a contact page and a blog page. So that's just mainly to fill in the primary nav menu here. And in any case, for any site build, I like to have that basic page stack. So home, blog, about, contact. Next will be the required amount of posts we should have. So for this design, if you count out the posts that are being displayed here on the home page, you'll see that there are 15 posts. In order for this design to sort of fill up, you'll need to have at least 15 posts ready. So I know that for many of you who are just starting out, you're probably thinking we don't have, you don't have that amount of posts ready yet. So in those cases, I'd probably just recommend keeping the design to display your latest posts only. And then once you sort of reach that 15 post mark, then you can revisit this course and then sort of create your blog around this design. For the sake of learning, I will be providing the sample content of this build for you. So you can use that when you're going through the course. Okay, and then finally, the estimated build time for this would be around an hour-ish, less than an hour. In the next video, we'll be jumping right in. All right, see you in the next one. All right, welcome back. Let's jump right in. So we have a fresh WordPress install, and here's how it looks on the front end. We have the default theme installed. And the first task at hand is to simply clear out all sample posts and pages. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to head into posts. And I see we have just one post here, so let's go ahead and clear that out. We're just going to check that and then trash it. And then let's go ahead and completely clear it out by clicking empty trash. We're going to check media. Let's see if there's anything in here. Okay, nothing. And then pages. Okay, we have a couple. So let's go ahead and do the same. Let's bulk edit and then move to trash. Apply. And then let's go ahead and empty the trash. And that is it for that. All right, cool. So next, we're going to add what I like to call my basic page stack. So what that is just adding in 4 basic pages. Whether you're doing a website or a blog, I always just like to get into the rhythm of building by adding in this sort of preset stack of pages. What that is home, about, blog, contact. So as an acronym, you can just think of it as HABC. So let's just go ahead and add that in. So I'm in pages. We're going to go to add new. And then we're just going to be adding in the page title for now, just empty pages, and then publishing that. Okay, and we're going to repeat this process for the other 3 pages. So we're going to do this for about. We're also going to do it for blog and contact. So let's go back. I'm going to go add new, blog, publish. Finally, we have contact and then publish. So again, the reason for doing this is just to have something to work with. It also is so that we can have these pages accessible in the customizer so that we can add them as menu links to our menu. All right, so that's our basic page stack. Okay, the next task is to install the theme. So to do that, we're going to go to Appearance and then Themes. We're going to go to Add New. And then from here, we're taken to the theme directory. And all of these themes are being pulled from the WordPress.org theme directory. You can view and install and activate any themes directly from here. We are going to search for the blank canvas theme. So you can type in blank canvas, and then you'll see that it appears right here. So we're going to click install, and then we're going to let that install. Once the theme is installed, then the next thing we'll want to do is activate it. So for context, when you install a theme on your website, it is not automatically activated. Your theme, your previous theme will still be active. If we want to completely switch to the theme that we just installed, then we click activate. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so now that it is activated, let's just check the front end and see how it looks. Okay, cool. We are now on the blank canvas theme. All right, so now we're going to install the required plugins that we'll be using for this site. So we're going to head over to Plugins, Add New. Next, we're going to go to the Search Plugins field, and then we're going to search for WordPress.com Editing Toolkit, and that should pop up right here. All right, so it looks like this, and we're going to install that. After that is installed, we will activate it. Cool. So now we're going to search for CoBlocks. I'm going to go to Add New again. So the CoBlocks plugin is for the form, the single form that we'll be using on our site. And here it is. Okay, so this is the plugin that we're looking for, Page Builder Gutenberg Blocks, CoBlocks. So install that. Okay, and once that's installed, we will activate, and we are good to go. Now, I'm going to walk you through how you can import the sample posts and media content that we'll be using for this build. So we're going to first want to go to Tools and then Import. And then we're going to head down to this section here where it says WordPress. And we're going to click Install Now. And what this is doing is it's going to install the WordPress importer plugin. This will allow you to run the importer that's needed to import the content that we're going to be importing. Okay, so you can click Run Importer after that's finished installing. And then from here, we're going to have the option to choose a file. And so I've provided links to the sample content. I've already downloaded the 2 XML files that is needed. So you're going to have 2 files. The first one is going to be for the posts, and then the second one is going to be for media, and they're labeled accordingly. So you're going to want to import it in this order that I'm about to show you, just to ensure a smooth import. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and drag this in here like that. And then I'm going to upload file and import. So what I'm importing first are the posts, okay, the post content. So let's click that, upload file. So where it says import author, you have the option to create a new user with a login name. You can do that if you want, or you can assign it to the current admin. So right now this is the admin here, myself. So let's go ahead and you can just do that. And then next, you're going to see this little field here, import attachments. We're going to want to leave that unchecked for now. Okay, so that's important. Let's leave it unchecked and then click submit. Okay, and it's done. So with the posts, it's going to be really quick like that. So let's go ahead and check our posts. And then as you can see here, all the content has just been uploaded. And this is just the text content, if you can see. So you can see here, there's no featured images. So that's what we're going to import next. And this is the part where it's going to take a little bit for it to import. So let's go ahead and go back to Tools, Import, run Importer. And now we're going to drag in the XML file for the media right over here. Okay, we're going to upload file and import. We're going to assign the author as the same as last time. And then we're going to check import attachments this time. Okay, this time we're doing that for the media. And we're going to click submit. All right, so since this is dynamically pulling the content from the source site, which is the sample site that I have under my own site, it's going to take a little bit. It's going to take around maybe a minute, 2 minutes, maybe, if I recall, for this to finish. All right, so you're going to see this little, rotating icon here for a while. But just be patient. There isn't any progress bar, so you might think that there's something going on, but this is how the importer works. Okay, so I'd say just be patient and just let it do its thing. Okay, we are back and the import is finished. So let's go ahead and check our posts and see what they look like now. So if I head over to our posts over here and just view this post as an example, we can now see the featured image is properly assigned to the post now. Okay, let's go ahead and check a couple more. And yeah, it looks like everything is good here. All right. And that is how you import the posts and media content. So now we are going to start making configurations in the customizer section of our site. So the first task that we have will be to set the homepage settings to static homepage. So just to show you what our site looks like right now, you'll see that the blog posts are being displayed here by default. So this is how all blogs and sites will start out. If you have blog post content, this is how they're going to be laid out. Okay, from reverse chronological order, top to bottom, most recent showing up first, and then the least recent going downward. So in the design that we'll be building, we will not be using this setting. We'll be using our own static homepage, and we'll be building out our blog grid on our own. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to go to Appearance, Customize. Next, we're going to head to the homepage settings here. And then under your homepage displays, we're going to select a static page. And then for homepage, we are going to select Home. And then we can just publish. Optionally, for our post page, we can select blog. And then that way, for our blog page, visitors can just click blog, and then they'll have that option to see all posts at a glance there. So we can publish that if we want. If you'd like to leave that unchecked, that's totally fine and up to you as well. But for now, let's just go ahead and assign our blog page to be the post page for now. And we're just going to publish that. And then that will be it. So if you visit your site, we'll see that we have our blank homepage. This is expected. If we go to our blog page and view that page, okay, we'll see our URL/blog. This is where our posts are now being displayed. Okay, next, we are going to enable the site header and top menu for our theme. So if you recall, when visiting our site, we'll see that that is not here right now. For this theme, it has a section called Content Options that by default it is already disabling a lot of sections for the site. So let me go ahead and show you where that is. So we're going to head into the customizer again. We're going to go to Appearance, Customize, and then we're going to go to this Content Options area. So this area here will be available depending on your theme. Some themes will have it, other themes will not. Blank Canvas has this option, and depending on the theme, it will allow you to enable or disable certain parts of your site. So for Blank Canvas, it has the option for you to disable the header and the menu, the widgets, the page titles, and the comments. So these are all here for you to decide like how minimal you want the theme to be. So in our case, we will want to use the site header and menu. So we're going to head into this section here, and we will simply check that option. And let's just go ahead and publish those changes. And now you can see how the site title and tagline are being displayed. All right, next we are going to head over to site identity. So we're here in the customizer. We're going to head back a page, and we're going to go into the site identity section here. And from here, we are going to add in our logo, our tagline, and then our site icon. We can go ahead and start with our logo. You can add in your own logo, or if you had imported our sample content, we have our logo over here. So it's this little monster guy here. We can select that, and then just add that in like so. Next, we will be setting the tagline. So live and learn. And then finally, we will add our site icon. So what that is this little icon that appears next to your site title in browser tabs. Okay, this is what shows up right over here. So we're going to use the same logo for that. Let's just go ahead and select that. And then now you can see how it's appearing here, like so. Okay, and then let's just publish those changes, and we are good to go. Okay, and now the final section that we will be visiting in the customizer will be the menus section. So we're going to build out our primary navigation menu. So let's go back a page, and then we're going to go to this menus tab here. We are going to create a new menu. So let's click create new menu. For the menu name, common practice will be just to label it as primary. You can label it main. You can really label it anything you want, actually. This menu name does not actually appear anywhere on your site. It's mainly just for you, for your own reference. So common practice is just to label it as primary. Next, we will want to assign a menu location. So depending on your theme, there will be different areas of the theme where you can place your menu. So for the blank canvas theme, we can see here there are 3 locations: primary navigation, footer navigation, and then social links navigation. We want our menu to appear in the primary navigation, and that is usually in the upper area of a theme. So let's go ahead and click that. And then we'll go to next. So just as an additional note, if a menu location is not checked, then your menu is not going to be displayed anywhere. So be sure to assign a menu location. All right, so now we will be here on this next tab, and we're going to start adding links. So we're going to click add items, and then we are going to add in our pages. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to click home. So this is the first menu item we'll be adding. Next, let's go ahead and add the blog, the about page. Next, we'll do blog, and then we'll do contact. Okay, let's click out and see how that looks. Okay, so in the preview, you can actually click on each page and see how it looks for a live preview. So everything looks good here. Okay, in this area here, you can actually move around your menu items like this if needed to rearrange your menu items. Next thing is we're going to add our categories of our blog posts under our blog to make a drop-down menu. So let's go ahead and do that. So the first one we have is technology, and then we're going to do travel and then food. So let's go ahead and add all of those in: technology, travel, food. So if we add them in like that, they'll be added to the top level. To create a drop down, you can click this reorder button and then use the arrows, or you can just drag and drop them underneath like so. So notice how there is just a small space here to indicate that it's a menu item going into a drop down. So we did that with technology. Let's do this with food. We'll just drag it up here right underneath technology like so. Okay. And then we're going to do it with food as well. Okay, and then now there it is. Let's just publish those changes. And then let's check. So let's click technology. You can now see how all the posts that have been tagged with technology are appearing here. Looks good. Travel. Okay, so all of our travel posts. Cool. And then food. All right. Cool. And then there it is. Okay, so let's exit out. Let's see what that looks like on the front end. Okay, so clicking blog, that will display all blog posts, and then that looks cool. That's good. Technology, travel. Okay, yeah, all of this is working. All right, and that's it for this one. All right, welcome back. So this is actually part 2 of the menus video we made previously. You have the option to add in a social navigation menu. So I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to head back into the customizer. So let's go there, appearance, customize. We're going to go to menus, and we're going to create a new menu. So remember in our demo, or in our design, we had that social media menu. We're going to create that now. So let's click create new menu. We're just going to label this social, and we're going to assign it the social links navigation area. And in this case, that area is going to appear right below the primary navigation area. So let's click next. Now we're going to click add items. And we are going to add in custom links in this case. So for the URL, you are going to type in whatever URL your social media profile is. And what will happen is WordPress will automatically display the associated social media icons. So for example, if you were to type in your Facebook profile, you're going to start with the HTTPS colon / and then facebook.com / whatever your username is. I'm just going to leave it like this for now, just as a filler. The link text can just simply be Facebook, and we're going to add that to the menu like this. Okay, and then let's publish that. And we can see how it is appearing here like that. So right now we just have Facebook, and it's going to lead to Facebook. But as mentioned previously, you can just type in whatever your URL is for your social media profile, and then that's how it will be added in. So let's go ahead and do this for some other profiles like Twitter. So just to show you what that looks like. So Twitter, we'll add that. Let's go ahead and add in Instagram. Add that in. Let me see how that's getting added in there. Let's do Pinterest. Let's do YouTube. And then finally, let's do Spotify. So, okay, and then there we have it. We have our primary navigation menu and then our social media links. Let's publish that. Exit out. Check the front end. Cool, looks good. All right, welcome back. So we are now heading into the meat and potatoes of our build design. So that will be the custom display we have going on the homepage for our post. So let's go ahead and get in there. So we're going to head over to pages, and then we're going to go to home. Okay, and now we're going to be in the editor. So right now our homepage is blank. The first section we're going to build out is the technology section. So in this section, there's going to be two blocks we're going to be working with. The first is a heading block. So let's go ahead and add that in. So you can use a / and then if you know the name of the block, you can just type it in, and then you'll see how there are different blocks that appear like that. It allows for easy adding in. So we're going to click heading. Alternatively, you can click the block inserter icon and then search for a block that way and add it in that way. Or you can just do it the way that I prefer, which is / and then the name of the block. Anyways, moving on. So the first section will be technology. So let's just go ahead and do that. Technology, I want this to be aligned, center aligned. Okay, and then there it is. Let's go ahead and to the next block line. And then remember that WordPress.com editing toolkit plugin we installed earlier. We're going to put that to use now. So what that gives us is the option to add what's called the blog post block. Okay, and this is what we're going to be using to manage the grid. So there's a few things that we'll want to do here. The first is to set the alignment. What we want is for this to be wide width. Next, right now it's in list view. We want this to be displayed in grid view, like so. Okay, and then the next, show media on top. Okay, that's fine. Landscape image shape, that's also fine. Now, we're going to head over to the display settings here. So make sure that we are selecting the block and then clicking the block tab here to access the block settings. And then we are going to increase the number of items we want displayed, and we want 4 posts to be displayed in this case. So let's click up for 4. For columns, we want 2 columns. And then we have the option to display posts of a certain category or tag. So in this case, we want only technology categories to display. So if you type that in, you're going to see how it brings up our category here. So you can click that. And then now it's only displaying technology posts. And the way it's being displayed is the most recent post tag with technology is the first, and then going on to display the older posts as well. All right. So we're going to scroll down a bit. For the post control settings, we do want to show the excerpt. So you can disable that if you want, but in our demo, we have it displaying. You can also manage how much of that excerpt is being displayed. So right now we have it at 55. We'll just leave that as is. We will want to add a read more link. Okay, so that's going to display a keep reading link on the front end. Type scale 4. This is just for increasing the font, the size of the font for this. We can leave it at 4, that's fine. For the post meta settings, all we want showing in this case is just the author. So let's uncheck date and then uncheck the avatar, and then now we can see how it's just displaying author. And then, yeah, this should be good. So let's update this, and then let's go ahead and view the page now. All right, beautiful. So there is our first section, technology. All right, we are back. So next, we are going to move on to the next section. And now we are going to build out the travel section. So it's going to be just like the section we built out earlier, but with a little bit more minimal design. So let's just first start out by adding in the heading, sorry, H2 heading. That's going to be travel. Let us set the alignment to center. Okay, now we're going to add in the blog post block. Let's go ahead and set this to wide width. We're going to set this to grid view. Let's head over to the settings. And the number of items we want to display in this case will be 5 posts. So we're going to up that to 5. For categories, let's select travel. For columns, we want 5 columns. So let's bump that up. Next, let's go ahead and disable the excerpt. We don't want that showing in this case. For the post meta settings, let's get rid of the date. Let's get rid of the avatar. All right, let's go back to post control settings and let's move the type scale back down a bit. Let's do 2. Okay, let's update that. Let's view the page. And we are finished here for this section. Looks good. All right, so now we're going to build out the last post section for our homepage, and that will be the food section. So like the previous sections, let's start off by adding in a heading. So let's do that. Heading, food. Let us center align that. We're going to add in a blog post block. There it is. Set to wide width, grid. And for this, we're going to want to display 6 posts. So in this section, we have 6. Okay, so let's select food. Okay, columns, we want 3 columns, so that's fine. Excerpt, we don't want the excerpt to show here. For type scale, we're going to do 3. For the meta settings, let's get rid of the date and the avatar. And that should be it for this one. So let's update those settings. Let's check the front end. And that looks good. Okay, we're done here. We are now going to build out the footer section of our site. So one thing to keep in mind here is that this is not the actual footer of the theme. What I mean by that is, if you remember in the content options settings in the customizer, the actual footer area of the theme has been disabled. And so we're keeping it that way so that we can create our own footer. And the area that we're doing that in is directly on the home page. So the idea is that we'll only be using the home page to display all of our main content. And so there won't really be a need to worry about displaying a footer on any other pages. So in a sense, this is sort of like a one-page website, but for a blog. And so in this case, keeping the footer on the home page only, building it out in a custom way here sort of works out. So let's go ahead and get right in. So let's go ahead and insert a separator block. So what this is just literally just a line, a basic line, very subtle. It's useful for creating dividers between sections in your site. So I'm going to add one in here just like that. Next, we are going to now add in the columns block. So let's add that in. We are going to change the alignment to wide width to match the width of the rest of the sections. And we are going to do 3 columns. So let's select this here with equal split. All right, so starting with the left column, the first block that we're going to add is a paragraph block. And here, we're going to display our latest post. So the first thing we're going to do is just type out a title. And I'm just going to do latest like so, keeping a space in between letters just for aesthetic purposes. And we're going to center align that. And then we can go ahead and hit enter to start a new block. And now we're going to add in the latest post block. So we can see that here. And then here it is. We can keep everything as is. This is perfect the way it is by default, 5 items in a list. Let's go ahead and switch the alignment to center. You'll notice that there isn't, you don't see it being centered here in the editor. I think that might be a bug maybe. But if we go ahead and preview the page, we can see that it's actually fine and centered. Okay, so don't worry about that. And that would be it for the left column. Moving on to the middle column, what we have first is a small little about section. I was typing about. So let's add in a paragraph block. We're going to do about, type out about. We are going to center align this. And then here you can just add the copy for whatever it is that you're all about. So let's go ahead and type in what we have here. So Monster Press is your premium source for tech, travel, and food. Food news. Boom. All right, we're going to center align that as well. And then we're going to hit enter, start a new block. And now we are going to add in a section called grow. Here we're going to link to some fictional learning resources. So to do that, we can just type out some text as normal. So monster marketing, we're going to align that. And then the way we're going to hyperlink this is by selecting the text like so. We're going to click this link icon that appears in the hovering toolbar above. And then here you can type in any URL of your choice. But in this case, since we don't have a URL ready, I'm just going to insert a pound sign just as filler. And then we can hit it submit like that. So I see that it inserted the pound sign directly here. Let's redo this actually. Delete that. Oops. Okay, so it's getting a little wonky here. Monster marketing. Center align. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's do the same thing for a couple more. I'm gonna duplicate this just to make it a little bit easier. Let's do this one more time. Duplicate, and here let's just change the copy to monster casting, our fictional podcasting website. And over here, we're going to do monster courses, our fictional online courses website. Okay, and then, okay, that doesn't seem to be linked. Courses, boom, okay. And then finally for this section, let's add in a merchandise section, okay, for our fictional store. So that's going to be Monster Shop. Center align. Okay, we're going to link that like so. Okay, and then that would be it for the middle column. Finally, for the right column, we are going to add in a lead magnet as a way to build our email newsletter email list. So I'm going to type join, and then I'm going to add in an image. So we're going to do an image block, and this image is going to be an image of our lead magnet. So in this case, we have this fictional PDF freebie, which you can use if you'd like. So I'd add that in like so. And we're going to just leave that as is. Okay, and then let's go ahead and head to the next block and then type in some copy. So let's go ahead and type it in. Join the list to get your free ultimate playbook on how to create great content. Okay, and then let's just highlight some of this text, bold it up. So can do like that, highlight the text, and then hit the B sign for bold. All right, don't see what's going on here. Okay, that's okay. No, that's fine. All right, so next we're going to add in the form. All right, so let's do that. Okay, so I type in the form and then we're going to do contact. So let's move this down. So that seems to have jumped up there. So small tip, when you add in blocks and it's not in the area that you want, you can easily move it up or down with these arrows here. Okay, so we are going to get rid of this message field. So to do that, let's make sure that we are selecting the form directly. And then, or actually, no, sorry, the message field. Okay, and then we're going to want to remove that area. So let's see here, text area. Okay, we're going to remove that. Cool. Okay, so let's select the form directly again, and we are going to format the button here. Before we do, just as a quick note, you can input the email address associated with the submission here in the form settings. So when a visitor types in their name and email, the email address that is here will be where that information is sent, okay? And you can just leave everything as is in the subject and success message area, or you can modify that if you want, okay? So let's go ahead and format this button. We are simply just going to change the color. I want the button color to be black. Text color as white is fine. And then for the copy, I want it to say subscribe, like so. Okay, and then I think that looks good. Cool. Let's just preview this and see how it looks. Okay, yeah, looks good. I believe I had these bits as bold, but let's just go ahead and update the settings. Refresh the page. Okay, let's bold these up. Bold, yep. Bold, cool. All right. And yeah, that's the footer section, okay? Let's preview that once more. Very nice. All right, cool. So there it is. That would be it for the footer bit. All right, so we are in the last part of our site, which is the footer. Sorry, not the footer, the copyright text, which goes below the footer. So we're going to insert a copyright symbol. And so for that, you can just simply Google copyright symbol. And the first thing that you're going to find in the results is the copyright symbol. So you can just copy that. I have that already in my browser here. So let's go ahead and do that. And let's insert that in. Okay, so 2021. We're going to type out our site title, which is Monster Press, and then standard all rights reserved. Okay, text. All right, there it is. Okay, and then we have this centered outline like so. Let's preview how that looks. All right, looks good. Okay, so actually I want there to be a little bit more space in between the footer and then where this appears. So to achieve that, what we can do is add in what's called a spacer block. Very useful for just adding in white space to your site in between elements. By default, this is going to be at 100 pixels, and I believe this is the perfect amount of space that I need, that I'm looking for. So let's add that in here between the footer and this text here, and then let's preview what that looks like now. Okay, looks much better. Very nice. Okay, and that's it for this section. You're going to notice, by the way, this little bit here that's input by the theme. We're going to take care of that with a little bit of custom CSS in the next section. Okay, welcome back. So we are now in the final part of cleaning up our theme design. So technically we are finished. We could leave this as is, as the way it is right now. But if we are to compare this design to the demo design that we have, you'll notice that there's actually a few things that are different. So the first thing that might stand out to you is the color, the primary color of the links that are here. It's blue, as you can see, and the hover is blue. For some themes, or most themes, they'll have a option in the customizer to modify that. So you can always do it there. What we're going to do in this case is modify this with CSS code. Another thing that you might notice that is different is that there's a few areas here where there's some white space. For example, here, I want to address this. I don't like how there's a gap here between the site title and the nav menu. There's also a gap over here that I'd like to sort of minimize as well. You might also notice that this button here in the demo is also full width, matching the width of the form fields. And then we also want to get rid of this default footer credit here as well. And so in cases where there won't be default options for modifying these little elements of the theme, this is where CSS comes into play. So I'm not going to go into great detail about how to use CSS and whatnot, but you can just sort of see me what my workflow is for sort of identifying the classes needed for these elements and then applying the CSS in the customizer. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's first address the color. So the first thing that I usually do is inspect the page. Okay, every browser will have this option, and what that will do is bring up the developer tools, which shows the source code of the entire site. So when you hover over a certain element here, you'll see how it appears here on the web page. So what I'm particularly looking for is the color. So here we can see that the root, which is the global element for the entire site, the global primary color hover is blue. So let's go ahead and let's head into the customizer and then let's type this out so that we can customize the color. So to do that, we're going to go to Appearance and Customize. Okay, and then we're going to head into Additional CSS. And then let's go ahead and type it out. So I'm first going to type out a note. So secondary color in this case. This label is here. This note is here just to for reference, my own reference, that the code that I'm about to write is for modifying the secondary color of the website. The class that we're targeting is root. Oops. Okay, and then we're going to open brackets, and then we are going to type out the class that we highlighted. In this case, let's just go ahead and copy this like so. Okay. And then we are going to input the color, the hex code color of our choice. So for our case, in my case, I already have that ready, prepared. And what this is the hex code color for a maroonish pink. So let's type that in like that. And then, yeah, let's publish this and see what that looks like. Okay, yes, so there it is. It doesn't look like it appeared to update live in the editor, but if you publish, you'll see how the hover color is now that maroonish pink color I mentioned. Okay, so this is for the hover color only. I also want to apply this as the global secondary color. So just from my own knowledge, I know that the class is already color secondary. So let's go ahead, type that in. Like that. Let's publish. Okay, yeah, that looks good. I believe that there are color options here. Okay, where we can do, yes, okay, yeah, so we can select a custom color here as well. Okay, cool. So you can actually set that here too. So if you want to sort of just for good measure, you can set it here. Okay, there it is. Cool. Next, let's go ahead and address this spacing over here. So we can just open up the customizer. I mean, not the customizer, the inspector here as well. And let's move this over a bit. Okay, so if we move up the page a bit, let's see here. Yeah, you know what? Let's go over here. So right now I'm right clicking on the nav menu. Okay, so let's scroll up a bit. There it is. Okay, so notice how when I landed on this line here, the class is primary navigation, and you see how there's an orange bar at the top there? That's margin space. Okay, so if you go over here in the inspector and scroll down, there's a bit here that always displays what the different spaces there are around an element. So we notice how green is padding, and then this yellow is border, and then over here is margin. You see how there's a 45 here? That's 45 pixels. Margin top. Okay. This is margin left, margin right, margin bottom. So we want to get rid of this space here, margin top. So let's go over here to the customizer and type it out. Okay, so the class that we are targeting is primary navigation. Okay, and then we're going to set margin top to 0. Okay, so notice how that just got rid of that space. So just to show you that again, let's take that out. See, put it back in, and then there we go. Let's go ahead and publish those changes. So that looks good. All right, so the next thing that I want to address is this space here. Okay, so there's a gap going on over here. First, let me refresh that. I want to get rid of that. So what is that? Okay, so here we go. Right clicking here takes me to the masthead. So I'm going to target that ID. And notice the green bit that's going on there. Let's find out what that is. Okay, so that looks like some padding. So I want to get rid of the padding bottom, only the padding bottom actually. So you notice how there's a padding top here and then padding bottom. I just want to get rid of the padding bottom. So let's go ahead and do that. So since we are targeting the ID, we're going to do £, we're going to do masthead, padding bottom, 0. Okay, publish those changes, and that looks nice. It's coming together. All right, cool. Let's scroll down. The next thing I want is to modify this button. So I don't like how it's sort of like this width right now. I want it to be full width. So let's inspect this. Let's move this over a little bit. Okay, so let's play around with the width here. So this looks like the spot to do it. So we're going to do minimum width, and I want it to be 100%. Okay, so notice how we can see that the code works when testing it in the inspector here, 100%. This is exactly what I want. So let's go ahead and copy these classes here. And we're going to head back to the customizer. Let's head in here, just paste that in. Okay, and we're going to do minimum width. It's 100%. Very nice. Okay, and then one thing I forgot to do was to put some notes here. So let's just take care of that. So this bit of code is for the primary navigation spacing. I'm just going to type nav menu spacing. Next, remove white space. Lead magnet. Submit button. So again, these are just notes for my own reference. If I just have a bunch of code here without any notes, it can get unmanageable very quickly. We won't know what sort of code is doing what. All right, so the last thing I want to do is get rid of this here. Okay, so we have our own copyright here. We want to get rid of this default copyright. So let's check it out. Let's inspect that. And we can see here that this is the colophone. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. So in this case, it is an ID. So colophone. And we're going to do display none. Boom. And publish. Okay, and that looks like everything is good. All right. Okay. Oh, looks like I forgot to bold that. Let's go ahead and do that. That's about it. That should be everything though, aside from this. Bold, update. Okay, cool. All right, and that is it for this course. We built the entire blog design. You can see we have everything that's here. All right, cool.